everybody. Okay, how many of y'all know me, though? Raise your hands. That's it? We're going to follow me after, you're all following me after we're done with this. Okay, so my name is Rida Tharana. You've all got my introduction. And the topic that was given to me was reach beyond. So one of the things that I had in my head was, what's reach beyond exactly? It's subjective for sure. Some of you is like, I just want to go back home and sleep. That's reaching beyond for you. Some of them really want to have a settled life, sit in a nice place, have your own house at a beach. That's reaching beyond. Some of you just finishing your education, being financially independent. Some of you have stronger stories which can keep changing the aspect of reaching beyond. So now here, I'll just quickly talk about me, where I come from, what I do, and how exactly did I reach beyond, right? So I'm 23 years old. I come from Coorg, and I come from a very small village. We were the first girls to be sent to a convent school, luckily, and we were also the first girls to be kind of sent forth and put forth to be like, okay, I really want my daughters to study and be financially independent. So my father was really supportive. Then. I don't know what happened now, but he was then. So we were the first girls to be sent to convent schools, and I was really good at my studies. But you're not really pushed, you know? The toppers are usually selected. Okay, you're a topper, so you're exceptionally good at everything. You're average, so I'm going to push you a little more. And if you are somebody who's just doing okay, then, you know what, take a back seat. But that's the best part. You have so much more to offer than what you think you can do, right? Not everyone's good at studies, but you're good at so many more things that the person who's good at studying might not be good at. Now, this generation, we're not just checking up to, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer, or have a settled financial status where I'm getting money on a regular basis. But we follow passion. Someone's a dancer, earning really well. Somebody's a content creator. Somebody's out there traveling and living their life. Somebody's out there with a business and entrepreneurs, technologies, and a lot more of stuff. You know these small businesses that boomed during COVID? We never thought something like that would be possible. We never thought something like that could work. And that's exactly what I will be discussing about, or as to how you can be yourself and dream bigger. And it doesn't really have to stick to what society has taught you, or the societal norm of, this is the dictionary I give you, and if you follow this is when you are going to live the so-called life that you're looking for. So, the idea was very simple. I went to a convent school. I was in class 10th. We were all sitting together. All my girls are together. We're doing the signature. I'm not sure if you do this. Okay, so fanciest. My father had the fanciest signature. I'd still copy it. Every time I'd feel like, okay, I've scored something low, I'd be like, okay, and I know how to sign, so I just sign that. But everyone's sitting together. They're like, we need to come up with a nice signature. I said, cool. We should really sit down and get a nice signature. When they sat down, they all had fancier signatures. The S looked like a dragon, and the R was flying up high, and the fanciest A of all. And now when it came to my name, I just wrote my name. It was R-I-D-A, Rida, T-H-A-R-A-N-A. They said, Rida, your kids are going to copy. And I said, okay, you're thinking of kids. I'm sorry, that was not in my head. I was actually thinking that I'm going to be reaching at a position someday where somebody is going to come and say, oh, I think I need your autograph. And when I write that, I want them to know my name. You guys, I manifested that. Last year, 2021, I was at a mall. I was hosting a show. And I remember this one person coming to me with a beautiful book that they genuinely love. And they said, Rida, I admire you. I love what you make. And there's so many things that has changed for me. When they reach out to me, they don't say, oh, you look pretty. You're wearing a nice dress. They say, I was able to say no. I could stand up and say, I wanted to do this. No, I don't want to marry this early. I want to be able to conquer this or conquer that. That's not exactly the job I would want for my gender. I want to experiment and explore. And I gave my first signature. It was my name. It was nothing fancy. It was just my name. So as I kept going, there were a lot of hurdles that came my way. So then I planned, I'm going to take biotech and genetics because that was the only course that was not available in Coorg and the only way that I could get out of that place. If it were not the case, I'd be giving a TED with 2 of my kids right beside me. So the deal was to get out of that place no matter what. So I took science. I was studying there in Coorg still. And then I somehow convinced my parents, okay, you know what? I really have to go do this. It's very good scope. India is going to be amazing. Genetics is what I'm going to be. I don't know how I convinced my parents, but I did convince them. But they said, we don't have the money for this though. What are you going to do about this? I am not going to pay this because practically everyone there were engaged at the age of 16 and at the age of 18. Guys, I'm 23 and this still happens. So if you are at a place where this does not happen, this is what I want to do. Open up your bubble and understand that most of the people still struggle to get their education. And their education is basically just to be on an invitation of your wedding and not the dreams. The amount of investment that you put on your sons is not the same that you would put on your daughter. And that's what I want to change, and that's what I want to go for. And then I said, okay, I'll take the loan. I'll take the loan. And that's when I realized the schools didn't teach me about banks. It didn't teach me about interest. It didn't teach me about taxes. It didn't teach me about the basics that I would require to be there. I go on to the bank. I say, I want a student loan. They tell me about the interest. 13%. 13 is a nice number. It's okay, I guess. Who knows? 13% would be a quite of a larger sum. So I said, it's cool. I took 3 lakhs as the loan. I convinced my parents. I said, you do not have to give me anything. Right? I would sit down and pray to God, you don't have to do anything. Just send me to Bangalore. I'll figure it out. I need to get out of this place no matter what. So I moved out. That was the only time my parents ever came to Bangalore to drop me to hostel. That was my dad. And he's never come to visit us after that. I mean, not that he doesn't want to. He checks on me every time. But he's like, she'll take care of it. So that happened. My parents were in a financial crunch. It didn't really work out for them. And that's when I got into emceeing. I got into events. I was 17. I desperately needed the money. I needed 2,000 rupees for my mess fee. And I was okay with veg. I went on, started with working. I used to go to events. I would see how they worked. I would see MCs speaking. I was not good at speaking at all. I would stutter. I didn't know how to speak. How to address a crowd. What would I do? Do I look good enough? And obviously, we live in a sexist industry. Let's just not deny that. You know that this role is particularly based with this gender. This role might suit this gender. And right now is when the diversity is coming into picture. And the industry was the same as well. We need tall, pretty, cute, straight hair, and all of that as the preference all the time. Now, we didn't leave. We're like, no, we're going to go. We'll try no matter what. So the term we I use is, I had a lot of people at that time who were of my support. So I always like to address it as we and not I. Okay? So we would just do it. And I started hosting my first event, didn't go well. Second, bad. Third, stuttering all the way along. Fourth, fifth, no. Now imagine, as a normal person, would I not give up at 3? Third try, I'd be like, this is not my cup of tea. Fifth, yes. But no, I did not. Because I was earning 800 as a promoter, but I was earning 2,000 as an MC, which would lead me to, I could just get my mess fee paid, and I would be able to invest my time on my records and my studies as every other students did that. They had pocket monies coming in. They would go to really fancy restaurants. You're living in Bangalore, come on. For those 3 years, every Saturday, Sunday, I'd be at a mall or at a corporate show, hosting an event, making sure that I'm getting enough money coming through. Midway, I stopped taking the loan. So I stopped taking at 2 lakhs. I started paying back. I started taking care of my sister's education because the financial crunch was still low, and I didn't want them to miss out on that. Still telling you guys, this is so important. So they got their education. They were studying. They're really smart girls, very beautiful. And after that, I just decided, okay, I'm going to start paying the loan. I'm someone who cannot take money from anybody. And if I do, I have to return that back. And the same thing with the bank as well. Bank was scared too. Every month I would call up, sir, I've added the money in the account. Please take it. They wouldn't take it. They'd be like, why are you not taking the money? I've put it in. Finally, instead of 2 lakhs, I had to pay 3 lakhs because that's when the interest thing came in. And I learned that, okay, this is how much I have to pay. But I cleared my loan 2021 Jan entirely. But in the meantime, we had pandemic that hit. Yes. I was also the first person to actually complete that loan. They don't give it to anybody, apparently. They're like, they all come and say, we'll kill ourselves if we cannot pay right now. But anyway, so pandemic happened and the event industry shut down. The reason I am here is because I have the audience. It's the same thing that goes with the event industry as well. The only way it can perform is when we have the audience. But the entire lockdown, it shifted to virtual events, and I slowly went into corporates. When I went into a corporate event, yes, I was working for Concentrics for 6 months, and I realized 9 to 5 is not my job. It made me feel sad. I wasn't happy. I'm a happy-go-lucky girl. everything might go down in the drain, but I still somehow find to be happy. It's okay. It happens, we get out of it. There's a new day to look after, and there's a new thing to do, so let's just not go for it. But those 6 months were terrible. I just realized 9 to 5 is not my cup of tea. It just shunned my capabilities. It shunned what I could do, what I believed in, how I could achieve things. I was just so drained. I didn't have the time for anything. So what I would do, I would just get ready. My cab was waiting for me. And I just had opinions about certain things, about society on skin color, skinny people, fat-shaming people, opinions on when you have to get married, when you have to have kids, everything. And basically, I thought it was targeted only towards women. No matter how much you say we've progressed, but we don't look into the rural areas of how women still fight to get the basic needs. We're still privileged here. So I was talking about that. I didn't have the time for it, and I'd gifted myself an iPhone SE at that time as a birthday gift. And I'm a self-gifting woman. Every time I come up with an achievement or I've won something, I gift myself something. Everything that I'm wearing is a gift for myself. I believe in it big time. So I was just there. So I used to hold my phone, quickly record, because the cab driver would call me 100 times, and just post it. So my idea was not to be a content creator. My idea was to just escape from whatever I was going through and just share my opinions of what I thought about the system or what I thought about women and how they could change. And one of the reels just went viral. Now it's this notifications popping up now and then, and I'm just like, what is happening? I just don't know why is all of this happening. I have anxiety. I still have anxiety. I have anxiety, and I don't touch my phone for a week straight. I was at 3,000 then, and then drastically these numbers are just changing. People are just following me. Just does not make sense, and it's very confusing. Finally, I'm just talking to somebody and I say, it's 2020 November. I say, by the time we hit 2021, I hope I'm able to make it to 4K. That 4K followers, it's a big number. I was from 3K to 4K. We hit 20K. And on 2021 Jan, I hit 100K. Apparently, a lot of reels started going viral. And then slowly, I didn't still know how to monetize out of it, but I just was like, okay, people are actually hearing me out. My opinions does matter. And I started taking up issues, again, as I told you, these are all my experiences that I went through my entire life. Let that be about just facing a normal thing. I always keep telling, a man stands up and makes a decision, you'll be like, that is a true leader. Did you see? He knows exactly what he's doing. A woman does the same thing, the same decision. This is exactly why women shouldn't be there. Did you see the face that she made, right? It didn't seem pleasant. And that's the narrative we have to change. There is a subjective role that's given to each gender. You look good at this, you look good at that. This is a sustainable job for you where you're able to also help your family and your friends. But what about your dreams? But what about what you want to do? What about what you want to say? Or what about your wishes and will? What about what you like? And that's exactly how you take control of it. We live in a society which is really hard. You just cannot say no to your parents if we are financially dependent on them. But one of the things I would want to just make sure that you're force upon is believe in yourself. When you think you can't do this, or you're just not good at it, is the time you need to believe in yourself the most. The way you look at yourself is the way the world will look at you. You can't change people's opinions. I'm pretty sure 50% of you might not agree with what I say or might not like me. But that does not change what I think about myself, do I? I come off as a very strong, confident woman. I know exactly what I get to the table, and that will never change. So your perspective about me might change or might not change, but it'll never affect what I think about myself. And that's how you gain confidence. I couldn't come here and stand up and speak, but the main difference what we have is we give this power of what we should think of ourselves to people around us. You will validate me. You will decide how I should think, how I should feel, what will make me look pretty, and what should, no. That's the decision made for you. It's your life, it's your hair, it's your body. How you feel about yourself is what matters. Are you feeling healthy? Are you feeling pretty? Are you feeling confident is up to you. But the minute you give that power to somebody is when you know it's not going the way you want. And that's the power you should take away from everyone. To young girls, to young boys out here, all I would say is, this is the time for you to experiment. Go on, get that show, get that gig, whatever that you're looking for, try it out. You fail, good for you. You have an experience, you learn from it, you go for it. this is the time you do not lose opportunities. We are the generation that will feed onto it. We are not someone who's going to be like, let's just let it go. We want it, we get it. I keep telling this, Rida wants it, Rida gets it. In a nice way. I'm not going to hurt anybody, but in a nice way. But it's also the fact that I manifested everything that I have here. I worked my ass off to be there. I'm so sorry for the language. But I worked really hard to be here. But one of the things that I realized is, with constant gratification, gratitude, constant self-love towards yourself, to people around you, you just change the persona of how you see the world. Once you're full with love within yourself, right, you just see exactly that with every other person around. And that's all you have to do. So reaching beyond, as I told you, is subjective. It keeps changing for each one of you. And I hope one day you all have your reach beyond stories. But this is my reach beyond story. We're just starting. We're just beginning. Maybe soon enough you'll see me somewhere else and be like, I know her. She came to my school and she gave this speech, which I didn't understand then, but she's here now. As I told you, it's dreaming big. Don't hold up and say, when people go on, no, that's not possible. Let it go. That's not something you can do. Never let that go for it. The minute, as I told you, you give it to somebody, your energy is drained. Decide your energy. Decide your space. Decide the kind of people you want to be with, the kind of energy and the environment you want to grow around, and that's what will change you. With this, I would like to end, but sayonara. This is me, Rida Tharana, signing off. Thank you.